Hello, people, and welcome to the Out of Bounds channel. I think it's a podcast now because we're going to be doing this weekly on Mondays and releasing it on Tuesdays. Oh, I can release it the same day. I'll see when I can be bothered. But yeah, I am back with the usual cast. How do you say it? Sam, Abbas, and Kojo. How we doing?
All good, bro, man. All good. Can't complain. Living.
You like the new intro, innit?
New intro.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah,
It
made up
sounds like
myself. Made up myself.
easy Carti beat still. I can imagine them rapping on it.
It was
Yeah.
that.
Something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, it was meant to fill the screen. I don't know. I only did like 2 weeks. So technical difficulty will be better for next week. But as you know, the Premier League is returning in 2 weeks. I thought before we do a prediction video or season preview, we should do our all-time starting 11, where we go from like all-time, well, from like 1992 when the Premier League came in. So it's an all-time Premier League 11 anyway. So don't want to hear about no Ian Rush and all those guys. Strictly your Drogbas and Henrys and those guys. So yeah, but obviously it should be interesting and stuff. Especially, what formation are we going with, by the way?
4-3-3.
You're gonna say 4-3-3. I know them days was a 4-4-2,
but
but
I think we should do 4-3-2.
Nah.
Standard 4-3-3.
Let's go back to old school. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, the reason I say that is because now everyone's just a forward, isn't it? Like Henry you could put Henry on the left if you want to, and still have not Haaland, but I'm just saying you could put Haaland and then Salah or whatever you want to do. So everyone's forward players these days, isn't it?
Look at this.
There you go. Come on.
Let's go 4-3.
Yeah. We're up in production this year, but yeah. So we'll go.
Do you all have to like unanimously agree, or we give our own like 11?
So we all agree on one, but we obviously just
okay.
We would,
I thought
like,
we had own individual 11 and we have a discussion on that. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, so we'll have a discussion. No, so obviously you have different ones. Then obviously majority wins in it, but obviously you still give your opinion why you think the other person is wrong in it. So obviously we're going to start with the goalkeeper, and why is it pair check? Well, I think it's pair check anyways.
Bro, it's easy.
I hear it.
Sam,
it's either Petr Cech or Peter Schmeichel. No, it's the two Peters. It's either Petr Cech or Peter Schmeichel. And I just think in terms of presence in goal, you got to go Schmeichel. When you saw him come out and how he could distribute at that time, he was one of the only goalkeepers that was doing a long throw and starting counters with the throw and stuff like that. When you saw Peter Schmeichel come out of his box, you were scared because he would make himself big, and he was a big presence. And I just think me growing up seeing Peter Schmeichel, that was a epitome of one of the top goalkeepers in the world at that time. Don't get me wrong, Peter Cech did his thing with the clean sheets, but also Chelsea had a great defense at that time, whereas Schmeichel made a lot of crucial saves. So I would say it's a toss-up between those two. I'm not really too fussed. I would say Schmeichel, but if I was outnumbered and it went with Cech with the three Chelsea boys, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, Petr Cech leading the Premier League in clean sheet all time. And as I said, he's one of the best shot stoppers that I've seen anyways. Like, in terms of the amount of saves, there's some saves that you make and you're just thinking, like, how the hell did he do that? Obviously, I'm just going to go to recent, and one save that always stands out, even though it wasn't the Premier League, was that FA Cup on Andy Carroll. I think when it was back post, and it was just saves that he made time and time again. And obviously, only conceding 15 Premier League goals in a season where, like, I think 8 or 9 of them were penalties. I think is outstanding for me anyways. Wait, just quick question. Do you guys think Alisson has a case?
No.
Not yet. It's the longevity is not there. Not yet.
Yeah. Okay, but not that in terms of greatness, but you're talking about if you're talking about just goalkeeper skill set and stuff. So let's say you were to wipe off all the accomplishment and you were to just judge them on their skill set. Do you think Alisson might be the best of all of them?
Yes and no. I don't think you could just take
I hear you. I do hear you, but then I feel like if you want to say that, you got to give Ederson a shot as well from City.
No,
I'm surprised who's not getting the love, and I hate the team with Van der Sar. Like, I'm surprised that people aren't giving him as much of a shout there. Yeah. But like, I've got to stick with. Like,
I think
if you ask me always like who's the best goalkeeper I've ever watched in the Premier League, it always goes Cech. And then, okay, like, because I've never seen Schmeichel, I can't really comment on it too much, even though there's a player or two that I think here that I've not watched, but I will still stick them in. So it kind of gives a clue of one player, but I'd have to go with Czech because of the clean sheet record. I think that's probably like the biggest thing, even though, yeah, you got a defense there that works on it. So it's not always just a goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, when the shots are coming, it's the goalkeeper that's making the saves. And I think the other thing is, I know it's a Premier League type of thing, but because he was there, he completed that full journey with Chelsea from when they got the transfer with the Roman deal over to win the Champions League. It just works. Like, the only problem is, I don't know what Schmeichel, if he ever had a bad period towards the back end, but Czech did have that bad period with Arsenal. So how much do you want to hold that against him in terms of being the best Premier League goalkeeper? I don't know. That's up to you guys.
Well, fair enough, but it looks like University we're going to go here, Czech anyways. But I think when it's all said and done, actually, no, like, I was going to try and make a case for Alisson when it's all said and done, but
no.
I think catches a compliment.
Listen, Courtois a better goalkeeper than Alisson, but that's whatever.
Nah, don't do that.
No, I mean, like, no, but what I'm talking about in terms of Alisson's all-round game, I feel like he.
No, but they mentioned the question would be: is he the most talented goalkeeper you've ever seen in the Premier League?
Yeah, that's the question I'm trying to ask in terms of talent, and I feel like he arguably
talent-wise, yeah.
I think talent-wise, you could put up. I think it's therefore maybe top 3.
Of course.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, you look at he's Czech in one. He can distribute. He's got the size. Great shot stopper. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. All right, let's move to left back. I was going to start, but I feel like left back is easier because I feel like everyone's just going to say Ashley Cole, and then we're just going to cut to the
Ashley Cole.
I think we're all unanimously agree. So you can move on to the next position.
I don't think we need to explain it. If you know football, everyone is picking Ashley Cole. So centre backs. Now obviously.
I think this is a very interesting one. Still, I think there's a lot of options here.
The thing is that there's a couple of my mind that universally comes up, but I feel like then on the back of that, people always say, "What about this player? What about that player?" So she wants to. Well, so obviously, should we just go around and say who we think are top 2, and then we explain our reasons?
I think top 2, Vidic and John Terry.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, I couldn't put. If I was building a team, I couldn't put Vidic and John Terry in the same team. They're two very similar. I need to have a complementary player. So for me, there's been great defenders in the Premier League, but I would have to go with John Terry and Rio Ferdinand, just because they complement each other in terms of what they do.
I meant for the first position. That's what I meant. The CB, the first one, not left centre back and right centre back. I'll just give.
Just both. You're both.
My two straight away. That's my 2. John Terry and Rio Ferdinand.
My second centre back for the right hand side, I put Rio Ferdinand. I just thought you meant for the first left hand side.
No. So pick who you think the 2 best centre backs in Premier League.
That's partnership.
Yeah, John Terry, Rio. That's mine.
Oh yeah. I concur with Sam. John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. I think there's no explanation for that. I think you watch football, watch Premier League growing up. I think you could easily see from the eye test, and even all the compliments they had, individually for Chelsea United. I think it's a no-brainer. So yeah, I agree with that. So.
Just one honourable shout. This might sound wild now, yeah, but just let me land. If we with another 5 to 6 years, yeah, you know who we might say talent-wise. No. Talent-wise, trophies, ability. No. John Stones. In terms of what he can do as a centre back.
I hear it.
In the next 5 years, we might say, do you know what? He's probably the best centre back to play in the Premier League. That's what I'm saying. In the next 5 years,
coaching that would allow him to adapt his game.
He's definitely shout in terms of talent. I think,
can I say something?
His ball crossing ability, he's dribbling, he's passing. I think as a ball play centre back, I think he's definitely, for me, top 3 in Premier League history. So
and you see him get British goals.
Can I say something, Vicky?
Last season we saw him get gritty. We saw it at Anfield.
And he's good early as well. He's good early as well. Header as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
but then I say disagree.
I'm gonna disagree. Oh wait, go on. I was looking my 2, which are a bit different.
Yeah, but we'll give you a 2. But the reason I agree with what Sam just said, because if City goes on and win all these trophies and all that kind of stuff, I think although obviously what Stones has done is good, but I think the person that should get that credit wouldn't be John Stones. I think it would be Ruben Diaz, because I feel like he's a better defender. I feel like the reason why John Stones stands out more is because of the way he was able to adapt to that new role, which means an offense. And when you start doing more offensive things, you get more shine, which is why I then feel like Stones gets a lot more praise. But then if you're going to then talk about as a defender, I feel like, and City go on to do what they do, I feel like Ruben Diaz should get that credit instead of John Stones. No, that's my opinion.
No, I hear it. But I like the way John Stones plays football.
But I still think John Stones, for me, I think in terms of talent-wise, I think.
But hear me out. It all depends on where John Stones ends up playing for the next 4 or 5 years. What's his actual role? Is it going to be playing in that midfield type of thing, where he puts him in there, or because if he is, then you can't really look at him from the centre back side of things. But no, I hear it. Like, I'm a fan of Stones anyway. Like, I like what he does. I like the way he plays. It's just, you know what it will be, and I say this to a lot of people. Say to my friends, nostalgia merchants kill football. And that's another big problem with football right now. Like, nostalgia merchants kill it. Like, you can't say John Stones because we watch John Stones, but we can say someone like Nemanja Vidic or whoever you want to put out there because that was way back in them days. But we can't say someone decent because nostalgia. And that's what it is. Like, that's a lot of things, which is why one of our centre backs actually is quite recent, and that's Vincent Kompany. I put Kompany and John Terry.
Yeah, so you're going to Kompany and John Terry?
John Terry and Vincent Kompany.
Okay, because I was going to go with Sam and say John Terry and Rio. So it looks like John Terry universal in it. So Abbas, I'll give you the floor to convince us why Kompany should be there instead.
Oh, easy. First, Rio always had. When we say Rio Ferdinand, for example, what do we always liken Rio Ferdinand with? Nemanja Vidic. So they always had a solid pairing. Now, I'm going to give you Vincent Kompany. Who was his solid pairing?
Good point.
Who was a solid pairing to start with?
The thing is, but I think that company, greatness, not saying it was down to this person, but it's only when Pep came in and started winning, everyone started looking at Kompany.
I looked at Kompany.
Because you got to remember, when they first originally bought Kompany from Anderlecht, man was a DM and he wasn't working for him at City. And then they moved him back. And then he had a little bit of a run. But the run happened when we was wearing Nike. Bro, everyone didn't have that mindset of Kompany at the beginning. It was only probably like 2016 where people said, "Oh, this guy is the talisman."
Think about it. He scored. And I'd say this as well. Kompany for me, when it came to it, he was the captain. So was Rio the captain of United?
I think towards the.
I don't think captain means
maybe.
Adds a bit of leadership to it. So there's a it's not intrinsic value to it. Okay, from a ball playing perspective, yeah, I'll give you Rio Ferdinand would probably be a lot better. Another thing, I look at big moments as well. What Kompany was able to do. The first title that City won, it was Vincent Kompany that pops up with the goal to basically get them square on points. When City were basically winning their trophies, Vincent Kompany was always the mainstay in the team. He was captain. When you look at the international side of things, I know obviously we're only looking at it from a Premier League point of view, but if you just put that into it internationally as well, he's the most successful Belgian player that they've had out. Well, sorry, no, he was in that mainstay. When England were playing together, for example, Rio Ferdinand got the opportunity to become captain when John Terry had his issues, and he stunk it up to the fact that John Terry came back as captain. Again,
it's all about the harmony in that team. That harmony was already off. And with you say that, but then okay, you look at that. But then Kompany had issues where he didn't have the longevity. He was injured. That's what I'm saying. People look at it and make it seem like it was a long run. It wasn't a long run where everyone had Kompany as this astute defender. Because remember, a lot of time he was injured. Like I said, when he first came to the Premier League, he was playing DM for us. No one really cared about him. So, like, I get what you're saying in terms of how it panned out. But if you look at the run that he had, you're like, okay, cool, he did his thing. This is coming from a City fan.
But also, I'll say this as well. Like, if you look at the exit of a player, Rio Ferdinand got relegated.
Yeah, but we don't take the QPR.
No, but we don't take his QPR.
Come on, man. Let's not do that.
I mean,
let's
let's
not
be
do
very
that.
real, bro.
Let's not
We
do
don't
that.
take his QPR case serious. We look at his tenure, the
But let's
10-11
not
years
do that.
at Manchester United, and also
But then
I mean, I'm doing it, but I hear it. But
if we start doing that, we might as well start saying take out John Terry for being racist. Then you start moving the goalpost.
No, but I'm sticking it just straight to football. You know, because then I can talk about something that Rio did back in the days, but it is what it is.
Mr. Drug Test? Mr. Drug Test?
Yeah!
You can't remember the whole cocaine allegation.
He was cheating on his wife.
That's a low blow, bro.
I'm just saying, he was cheating.
Exactly. Terry was doing nonsense with Wayne Ridge. So if we take into consideration, this man should be nowhere near the fucking greatest of all time, Premier League 11. So we can't really look at that. You know what I mean?
I'll give you this. Like, one of my things is about longevity in this, and I'll give you Rio had it a lot more than Company, but I think the way a lot of people just gloss over other sentiments, like, yeah, we can put. I mean, for me, one of the big things is when you look at stability as well. I'd say Man United were a lot more stable than City whilst Company was there, because they were chopping up managers constantly. City, the back lines were switching up. He for me made Lescott for that period when they won the league like one of the best centre backs in the fucking world. And like, if you take Lescott that went from Everton to there, and then don't get me wrong, I like Zabaleta. Like, always like Zabaleta, but I'm not gonna put him as some world class right back. Left back, who was left back at that time? Gail Clichy came from Arsenal.
Gail Clichy, Kolarov.
And
personally, the only star player I'd look at.
That's what I think. When you start naming the names of Man City defense, it doesn't sound that great.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Kalis. We even had Jerome Boateng for a season. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's
look
what
he turned out to be.
The only star I'm looking at in that back line, and people again don't rate him, and I don't understand why, was Joe Hart, because Joe Hart was the best goalkeeper in the world for 1 year at the very least.
In what world?
I'll die on the hill.
No, he wasn't the best goalkeeper in the world.
He was in the world.
Let me go for coach and top.
In the Bass's universe, maybe. In the Bass's universe.
I told you, bro.
Look, the easy answer is Rio Ferdinand and John Terry. The easy answer is, but when you really look at what Rio was playing with versus what Company was playing with, just in the back line itself, like, you have to give so much more praise to that.
No, I do hear you. Like, you make good points. Like, no one's discrediting that Company is not.
You almost convinced me.
Conversation, but I think if you're gonna say he's more deserving than Rio Ferdinand, that's a bit of an issue, bro. Because you got to take the whole career together, bro. You know
I'm gonna
Rio had 10, 11 years.
Okay,
like,
give me
one season. You could say that he wasn't at his best at United, but he was even great at West Ham. Because remember, give
me one Rio Ferdinand big moment.
Bro, there's Benny,
that he contributed to. I'm not talking about Cristiano Ronaldo scoring in a Champions League final or anything like that.
The thing is,
one thing I will say is that
look,
even if you can,
I always rate Rio Ferdinand. You right? Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a United fan where I'm gonna really, remember single performances that were amazing, bro. Like, United fan. But the thing is, you can even go. Richard, let me finish. You can go on YouTube, and you can see the moments where he helped United in tough situations. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't speak about Rio Ferdinand just because, Ronaldo, Rooney, and Tevez, and the likes of, Carrick were so great that, we have to force him into conversation. We put him there because he was actually a great defender. And even for England internationally, yes, we never did well, but individual performances, like in qualifiers and whatnot, he showed his ability as a very astute, leading defender. Do you know what I'm saying? So, look, I hear your point. I think even Richie has your point. Sam has your point, City fan. We will agree that, there's a company, it's definitely a conversation for one of the greatest centre-backs in the Premier League. No one's denying that. But I think the problem is, or where I think you're going a bit too far is, trying to say he's more deserving than Rio Ferdinand. 12 years of Premier League greatness cannot be overlooked, bro. You have to be real with that. Because
you know what's funny? Are you ready for this?
United.
Are you ready for this? How many Premier League titles does Rio Ferdinand have?
I think at least 5.
Yeah. And how many does Company have?
I think 4.
It's
No,
not that.
again, I'm not discrediting. It's top five.
It's
I
not
know,
that big of a difference.
So
All
has
the 12 years of dominance versus a shorter lifespan of company
No, but
has.
you got to remember. No, but you got
Dominance isn't that dominating.
No, but you got to remember. At first, you got to remember this. He was at West Ham first for a few years. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, when he joined United, Arsenal were the team which were one of the best teams in the league, and that Arsenal team was great. You got to remember that the competition that he had during his first season United was much more tougher than what
what I would say, yeah, is although I do feel like in recent times when Company was playing, the league is best from top to bottom. In those times where it was United, Chelsea, and Arsenal, I do feel like to just win the league, not to get top four, to just win the league was harder because those three teams are better than the next 3 or 4 teams in recent history.
Let me say this. This is I'm going to counter that to you. I'm going to counter that point to you. Who's got the highest Premier League points in Premier League history?
It was Man City.
Man City. Who's got the second highest points?
Man City.
Who's got the third?
It was Liverpool.
But what I'm saying is that obviously from top to bottom.
Okay, go on, Rich.
Liverpool were fighting City, and City still won the league. Where Liverpool were 97 points. There was never a challenger back in 10 games with that amount of points.
But if you're going to make the case for Company having... Okay, no, I'm not going to say Company had no involvement in that, but again, like Samuel said, yeah, bro, he was injured for half of the season. You know what I'm saying? He was injured for at least more than 10 games of the Premier League season, bro. So I thought for me to say that he was solely reliable for City's dominance during the 17-18 run when they got 100 points, the Centurion season, it's a bit far-fetched, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So, look, I agree about where you're coming from, top 5, maybe even top 3. That's a bit... I think that's the furthest you go to. But overtaking him over referring top 2, I think is a bit too far. But I think we should move on to numbers.
I always say it's nostalgia.
Rio Ferdinand, yeah?
You can have Rio, but nostalgia.
Yeah, we'll go Rio. But I hear your point, Bass. I think your point is...
No, it's not even nostalgia. It's like... It's there's so many comparables, yeah? But you just got to go with Rio. If you go... Even when Rio was at Leeds, West Ham, he wasn't at great teams, but you saw he had that Rolls Royce, had the pace, composure, distribution, and he could still defend. Do you know what I mean? So you can't put that talent and just say, yeah, Company. Yeah, like I said, Company did great, but it was a short period of time. And look, like I said, there's great honorable mentions. Steve Bruce, Ledley King if he was fit all the time. But with Ledley King, you couldn't put him there because he was always injured.
You know who I'm putting in that nobody will say?
Who?
Azpilicueta.
Right back.
It's not bad shout.
I'm gonna say this just as an overall defender.
Clarify first. Right back.
No, I'm saying just as an overall defender because this guy play left back, centre back, right back.
Keep
him as right back.
Right back, then I'm listening to hear it.
If it's
okay, no, yeah.
team or reserve team, fair enough. But if it's standard.
Let's move on to the right backs. And if you're talking about right back, I do feel like Azpilicueta does have. For me, if I give you who I think number 1 is, I feel like I think like out of all the positions, this might be the toughest one because I feel like there's Gary Neville who's in there. Obviously, I don't feel like with the rest I'm going to name, he's 10K as good as them, but the longevity to be in that United side and I mean, for Sir Alex Ferguson not to replace you, I know you played that many years, you must be doing something right. And I feel like defensively, he was very good. Correct. Offensively, he wasn't as good as the rest, but then he wasn't demanded back there where a lot of teams are playing and your right mids. I feel like Kyle Walker is another shout. I feel like ever since, especially from when he left Tottenham to go to Man City, what he's been able to do, I think, is phenomenal, offensively and defensively. As you mentioned, Azpilicueta, and I think Ivanovic is there as well. As I said, especially when you talk about that season we had in 2010, because he joined in 08 and he left in
He left 2017.
Yeah, so he at least won 3 Premier Leagues with us and all that kind of stuff. But as I said, I feel like
2015, 19, 2015, and 16, 17. But 16, 17, he had least involvement in that Premier League run.
Yeah, but he left halfway through. But you know, we're still going to give it to him anyways. But as I said, for me, anyways, for a long time, I've always said it was Gary Neville. But I think I'm going to switch up and I'm going to go with Kyle Walker. Is the greatest Premier League right back of all time. As I said, just going with the dominance that he's been able to have with Man City. And obviously, everyone's talking about how Pep buys a lot of players and he this and that. But until maybe last season, Kyle Walker has kept his position. And there's a reason for that. I feel like offensively, the overlapping runs he's been able to make, technically very sound. And defensively, I mean, as a recurring defender anyways, I think he's been elite. And one-on-one defender as well, I feel like he's been very good as well. So when you count that ability plus the amount of trophies won, which is like 5 Premier Leagues, and although you're not going to count all the UEFA things, but then he now did the treble as well. I feel like he now has the strongest case for me to be the best Premier League right back of all time.
You know why I'm going to give it to Neville? And I'll say this just quickly. It's because if you look at Fergie, when he started winning the leagues, or just in general, like a large 10-year part of that, again, I can't sit here and be like, he started everything, but this guy's got like 400 plus appearances, probably in the Premier League. Like, he's a Premier League legend rather than anything else to start off with. So just off longevity itself, I'd give it Neville. Secondly, like I said, in terms of Fergie's Premier League titles to Gary Neville, I might be wrong, but they probably just go hand in hand as well. So I just have to give it. For me, I'd probably give it Neville straight away. Like, I don't really know anybody else that can fill what he. I'm not saying, like you said, like I wouldn't say he's the best right back in terms of everything as a player, but he was there, he was winning, and they always have that thing where you can't win with kids. And I might be wrong, but I think he was part of that.
Yeah, he was.
Crop of players. He's got that.
He's part of the first United title in '93. So
yeah, so
there from the beginning.
Yeah, so that iconic thing about you can't win with kids, and the fact that he was part of it to a point as well. Like, I've got to give it Gary Neville.
No, you know what? I think we made a very good explanation for Gary Neville being the best right back of all time, Bass. And I respect your points. I agree to an extent, and I think I agree more with Rich and his favourites for the best right back of all time. I want to agree. I think for me, it's between Kyle Walker or Ivanovic. But I think I'm going to go with Kyle Walker. I feel like for me, I rate that on Tottenham. Obviously, the season on Tottenham finished second. What's the... All right.
Nah, I just see Richard
celebrating. Rich, what are you doing?
I was celebrating because you agreed with me.
Oh, right,
okay. I'm the decision maker here because I'm going to be last. So you got to hope I agree with you, but let's go.
But, what was that? Kyle Walker, for me, he takes it number one. For me, obviously, I've always rated him as I Tottenham. I thought he was dying for a big move to either United or City. I feel like that season, which sticks out to me during his Tottenham career, was the 16-17 season. And obviously, Tottenham were going head-to-head with Chelsea. Well, not really head-to-head, but they were putting some sort of half-hearted title race. And for me, if you're looking at the Tottenham team, the three most influential players of that team in that particular season, you'll say it was Harry Kane, Dele Alli, and Kyle Walker for me. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, an honorable shout, you probably say maybe like Toby Alderweireld, but looking at his career now, the fact that he can defend at a good level, he can attack at a good level. He makes very good runs. He's darting runs. Like Richard said, his ball recovery, his speed, which facilitates for him to be able to get back to his his opponent and tackle and recover. His leadership with the last couple of years, and the fact that he's won, I think now 5 Premier League titles. I think that's on people the likes of Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic. Surpassing the likes of Adams, from Arsenal. Equaling John Terry. I feel like for me, his over contribution, his skill set, and for me, he can potentially still be at City for next season, and potentially win another Premier League title. That could be 6. Obviously, the speculation that he could be going to Bayern, but I think overall, if we look at his ability, his skill, the fact he's been in the league for 12, 13 years, at least 8 of those years, he's been very consistent going forward and being a defender. His natural position is a right back. That's the most important thing to defend. I thought his defending has always been consistent on a high level. I think, you can't really kind of discount Kyle Walker being in that discussion. But Gary Neville's a good one, though. I think maybe for longevity. Not really into technical ability, but because if you look at in a way, if you look at Gary Neville's greatness, you're going to go from 1994 to about 2009, which is still a long period of time, 15 years. But I just feel like for me, I think it was more of a system. It was more of a team thing with Gary Neville. I don't think it was individually him. I think with Kyle Walker, you see that his brilliance is about the Man City team. He was doing that for Tottenham, and he's also internationally for England as well. He's been very rock solid for England. So I think overall, he stands alone. And I think honourable shout is Ivanovic. I think, again, complete. He was good going forward, good defensively. Not quite as good going forward as Kyle Walker, but he was still quite a good player going forward. He was very strong as well. Good leadership. Very hardwired. And for me, obviously won 2 Premier times at Chelsea, and it was a part of that era where Chelsea were one of the best teams in the world. So I think he's definitely in that conversation. So that's my thoughts.
All right, and what about you, Sam?
Let me just give my verdict and feedback. So yeah, I would say obviously Gary Neville had a great career, longevity. He was just a steady Eddie. He did what he had to do. He was a right back. Didn't really ask much of him. Him and David Beckham had that great relationship with the overlap, and Gary Neville would do his thing. But in terms of what Abbas was saying here, and a lot of people just want to go to nostalgia and say that the obvious option of an old school player like Gary Neville. Let's give flowers to the great players that are doing stuff now and have the potential to kind of overtake these greats. And I'm going to echo what Richard and Kojo said and go with Carl Walker, just based on what he's done. Him as a player, like Kojo said, at Spurs, he was already doing his thing. He was already a fullback where he would get forward, overlap, and in terms of defending, his pace would always help him to recover. And now at City, being with Pep has taken to another level. And you just see with the accolades that he's won, if he does stay with City for the next 2 to 3 years and add to those accolades, statistically he'll probably be the best right back. So why not put him in now? While he's still playing and give him flowers now. So I'll go with Carl Walker, to be fair.
One of my players next in certain midfield plays right now, anyway. But yeah, go.
All right. So the midfielders, do you just name our three, or do you want to name who you think our greatest is, and then see if anyone disagrees with who you think number one is?
Let's just go all three.
Yeah, I was gonna say all three. My all three's a bit.
Okay,
This is
I'll name my three first.
Because when it comes to midfield, midfield is such a complex and important position, you got to really kind of think about it properly. Because I think with the forward lineup, I think everyone can all kind of unanimously agree. But midfield was tough because I know Rich has an agenda on a certain player. I know Abbas has an agenda on a certain player. And that's not like... No, Rich has an agenda on a certain player.
I'll be honest with you, I have one criteria to make this entire list. That's why this one player can't make it.
Steven Gerrard.
No, but I know if I say something, Rich is going to be shocked.
Abbas, go. You want
He's going for a tantrum.
Let's all name our three.
Abbas, you was eager to do your three. Do your three then. Go on.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And then I want to say Yaya or N'Golo Kante.
Cool. You got two that I've got. But
yeah, you got two that go as well.
Yeah, you got two as well.
I'm going to say N'Golo Kante. I'm going to go N'Golo Kante. Kevin De Bruyne.
For the
Frank
first one,
Lampard, and N'Golo Kante. Just them three.
So the name who you think the three
just the three.
should be?
Just the three.
Yeah.
No. So your three was basically the three for the positions, bro. Not the three for the first spot.
Yeah, that's what he's done. Three positions.
Okay.
Them are three.
Yeah. As I said, I agree with Abbas when he said KDB and Frank Lampard.
Oh nah, not me.
Okay then.
No, say yours, because I'm still deliberating. To be honest,
so I've got KDB and Frank Lampard, and for a long time I've always said Frank Lampard is the greatest Premier League midfielder. This season I've changed, and I think KDB is number one now. But if we're all going to agree on KDB, I need to explain it. And the third person I'm going to go Patrick Vieira.
Yep, see, I was going to do that. My three, I was thinking my three was going to be Yaya, KDB, and Vieira. But then, what's so crazy? My favorite City player is David Silva. And I'm thinking...
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm thinking, shit.
And he's
David Silva in his prime. Oh, my God. It's mad.
I know, my one is tough.
Okay, you go.
It's tough, because I think KDB's up there. Then David Silva is another shout as well, but I think it's an honourable shout. Okay, I think it'll be, for me, I'm going to go KDB, Frank Lampard. The third one's a tough one,
KDB is unanimous. I'm going to
because I don't know about N'Golo Kante. I don't know. It depends.
My
DMs, then I'll put Kante.
My DM, I'll put Vieira.
But if you ask me boxing midfielders,
if we're actually playing real football, if you want to put DM, you might have to put the original DM there. The original DM. He played for Chelsea as well. You might have to.
Let's name your three best midfielders. Let's name your three best midfielders.
Wait. Does Bergkamp count as a midfielder?
No, don't do that. Come on. No, he's a forward player. He's a 10
Yeah,
forward player.
forward winger, kind of as what you want. He's not making it into no Premier League 11. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No,
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 no.
that's disrespectful. Richard.
Don't do that.
That's disrespectful. So wait,
So-
no,
Wait,
wait,
disrespectful.
Abbas, would you count Bergkamp as a midfielder?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, I'm saying, even if you could count him, he's nowhere near.
For me, that's KDB and Frank Lampard. I'll be real. I only got 2, man. I don't think I have a third one. I'll be real, because I have to be true to myself. I'm not gonna just spare any midfielder, which I don't believe.
Who puts Yaya? Who puts Yaya in their midfield?
I'm happy to put. So this is the thing. The reason and this only comes back to, I understand why you put Vieira, but I never watched Vieira enough. That's my only problem. But I said that before. There's one player that I'm putting in this team that I haven't actually watched, and I feel so I'm flip-flopping on that. But in my midfield, because I've seen so many elite midfielders, I'm okay to put a step back to say that's fine. I understand Vieira did this thing, but I've seen these enough to be able to be comfortable. I don't think there's a striker better than this guy myself. But for this one, like, I'm all right. I understand why he did Vieira. So if you want to put Vieira in, I'm okay with him. The third
Vieira was a DM, wasn't he?
No, that's what I mean. So I can put Vieira in there, but I can't not say Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard definitely has to be in that.
Yeah,
team.
I mean,
You know, okay. No, I'm gonna go.
No, if that's the case, then put Yaya then and take out Vieira, because I want Yaya in this.
Yaya's all right. Yaya, it was a Yaya thing.
No,
If you
Yaya
put
was
Yaya-
good. No, Yaya was good, but I don't think he had the longevity like that, man.
Yeah, but at his peak though, man, he
Yaya
could do everything. He could do
was
everything though. Pass, left foot, right foot, long shot, drive.
Oh, he
score
could pick
goals.
the ball up from your
Come on,
foot.
man.
Give
Bro.
me the ball. Let me run.
You got to remember, this is the same guy that played DM for Barcelona and centre back, and then he come to Premier
No,
League.
for DM, but his Barcelona career wasn't really star-studded though. It
No,
was just
but
a bit,
but no. What I'm
a
saying,
bit-
when you saw him play at Barca as a
That's
DM,
probably
you never saw this Yaya come to the Premier League doing this. You never saw that.
Oh, 100, yeah, 100.
What
Yaya
he
was
was
doing.
Over-exceeded that.
He was
City,
bossing it.
But so what? Are you guys not gonna put Kante? Because I feel like I have to go Kante now.
Nah, Kante for what really? If you put Kante, you might as well put Makelele. Like really and truly.
No, because Kante was a bit.
But
Makelele.
Kante was a beast though. I'll be real though. You got to be real, Samuel. 15, 16,
it's tough.
15, 16 to 19, 20, bro. That 4 years of
You
Kante.
know what I'm saying? So
But
this is what will also get me above Makelele for this. Kante also had, and again I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure Kante also had the individual awards.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Then- So are we putting Yaya Toure in? If we put Yaya Toure, I don't mind.
Yaya. I'm happy to put Yaya.
There's no Lampard then. There's no Lampard. But there's no Lampard then. That's what I'm saying.
There is Yaya and Lampard.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. That's cool then. No Kante.
Actually,
No
no,
Kante
no,
and
no.
Lampard then.
Because I sat here and I said Yaya or Kante. Like I
Yeah,
was like,
Right, this
Yeah,
is
take
hard,
Yaya.
bro.
It's
I'm
sad.
not- Yaya.
If this was a Serie A list, yeah, I would easily on top 3 midfielders, but there's Premier League, bro.
No,
I
so
don't
I
know,
can't
bro.
lie to you. I can't lie, yeah. Sam, we're gonna have to explain to us why Frank Lampard shouldn't make it.
No. I forgot. I thought we wasn't. I thought we was just doing. It wasn't either or. I was like, I
Bro,
want Yaya
wait,
Toure.
no, sorry.
You-
You have to put Kante there, bro. You gotta put a DM.
How? Come on, man.
you
Come
don't
on.
need it,
No,
man.
it's wrong, bro. You gotta have structure to it, bro.
There's no
Wait,
structure to this team.
Just pick your best three. Is
Pick
Kante
your
one of the top 3 midfielders in the Premier League?
Because listen,
Yes.
let's be
Of all
honest.
time? No way.
Yes, why are you
No
lying?
way. No, top
Bro,
3
as a
midfielders
DM, as
of
a
all
DM,
time.
as the
No
best
way.
midfielder, bro.
No way.
As a-
Because you
no,
know why?
no, that's-
Wait.
No, wait, hold on, wait. Can I just say something before I ask Cody the question again? Forget about that. We need a DM in the 11.
Exactly.
Just pick
No
your
way.
top 3 Premier League midfielders of all time.
Because
Now, do you still think Kante is top 3 Premier League midfielders of all
bro,
time?
All right,
Deep
cool.
it.
You asked me the question. I'm gonna answer it now, yeah. And then Sammy, then you can rebuttal if you want to. Right. Look.
And explain.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm just thinking. Cool. The only option, if you're not gonna put Kante, Samuel, yeah, is Patrick Vieira. But for me, the reason why I put Patrick Vieira, 'cause I
Bro,
didn't watch him like
Yaya
that.
was.
I know this is my top
Well,
three.
we're not
This
do-
is my
like-
top 3, which I
Go
want to influence and I want you guys to take in and consider and be real, because we all watch Kante in recent time. Simon's the only one, yeah, who's probably watched Patrick Vieira in great knowledge, in great depths. You know
yeah,
what I'm
He
saying?
said, by the way.
And maybe Abbas actually. I don't know how old you are, Abbas, but maybe Abbas. But me, Richard, we didn't really watch Patrick Vieira at his prime. You know what I'm
Speak
saying?
for
Let's be
yourself.
real. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, if I'm gonna go, okay, for your DM, but for me, I don't agree with Toure personally. I think he was a great midfielder, but I think for me, those bits where I wasn't really liking
Listen,
his whole City run.
the-
But
the-
yes, he was a great, and for me, probably the best African midfielder to ever grace the
You know
Premier
what?
League. I
This
agree
is
with
what I'm
that.
gonna say.
100%.
This is what I'm saying about Yaya more than anything else. About the other two, and again, this just pairs down to what he was able to do. Because, like Sam said, realistically, he came as a DM. Then he was given the opportunity to play forward, and he was able to think. Yaya has some of the biggest moments in Man City history.
Yeah, he does. The goal at the Carling Cup thingy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just certain things like that, and then like his one season, like again, it's criminal that that didn't win the player of the season that year. It's criminal because that season itself was.
But my candidate is like, what candidate? No one expected it, bro. This guy came from
No, you're right.
second division in France. This is a small boy, bro. He was 5'4". Do you know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
And do what he did.
Like Richard said, he's not making a top 5 best midfielders of all time. Because remember, we're leaving out Gerrard, we're leaving out Scholes, we're leaving out David Silva. We're leaving out David Silva.
Gerrard was just all the hype from Liverpool
man,
fans,
bro. If you start saying that, we might as well start bringing like people even gonna say Henderson for what he's achieved for Liverpool. People will start putting Henderson, bro.
Okay, wait, pass and Sam. So do all agree? Yeah, it's not Kante.
I don't want
Henderson.
We're not doing Kante.
He's prime. He's prime. You're saying Henderson?
No, and he was quality.
No, but I'm saying Yaya. If
honestly, I think if you took more of a favourable vote, remove structure, I think Yaya would get it.
Bro, if we got a team and there's no Yaya in there, people gonna look at us like Yaya, like what he did.
All right,
cool. You guys think Yaya. Fair enough. Take that one.
YouTube, listen, I just want to let you guys know I was picking Patrice Vieira because Yaya Toure
was but we didn't want him. We know wanted him.
So I'm gonna have to sacrifice. Like this is not the taste.
Look at that midfield. Because if we want, Yaya can sit anyway. It's calm.
Yeah,
he can sit in front of the
Yaya sits.
He can sit if he wants.
No, he doesn't. You don't have the niggas that gonna count up line to yourselves, guys, man. Be real.
No, but he was a deep line playmaker. He's a deep line playmaker, though. He's a Pirlo. What are you talking about? He's a deep line playmaker.
He was a deep line playmaker. Let's not profile him. He was box to box.
No, I'm talking about I'm saying at Barca. At Barca, he's a deep line playmaker. He played Busquets' role before Busquets came. That's my point.
What year did he play there? Because when I remember
he came 9-10. He was there 9. He was there 8-9.
No, Barcelona. He was a DM.
I remember as a centre back at Barcelona.
No, that was a couple of games when Pep was there. But when Pep first came, he was a DM.
Didn't he join 2010, Sam? Didn't he join 2010?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
Yeah, along with Boateng for that one.
Yeah.
No, he must have joined before that because he was there for the 2009 Champions League final.
No, he was at Barcelona.
Yeah, 08, 09. That was 08, 09, though, isn't it?
Yeah, he cut in 2010. So 10-11 season, where City finished third in the Premier League. No, I think so. City finished third. Yeah, that was his first season. And I see also won the FA Cup. I think that year as well. Was it? You won the FA Cup that year as well? 2011. Yes. Yeah, that was his first season at City. Yeah. So yeah, right, okay. But fair enough. Let's go to forwards now.
I've got my 3 already.
I think should we do individual, like left wing, then right wing, and then striker, or should we name our 2 wingers
and then work around it again?
I think do the wingers and then leave the striker.
Okay, cool. Richard, what's the next discussion after the all-time level? Are we done from here? Or?
After this, then next week we're gonna do the predictions for the thing.
Okay, no, let's do our left wing, right wing, then striker because we got let's say 50 more minutes.
So let me do my left wing. Mine's easy. Yeah. I don't want to hear no debate. CR7, no. Put him in there. CR7, put him there. Put him there.
Can I just say something? I agree with Nodo should be in there, but I was gonna put him on the right.
Yeah, I was gonna put on the right. I'll be real.
Why? No, we're putting Salah on the right. We can't do that. You got to put Salah there.
No,
hold on. Salah, you're mad. Abbas, tell the truth. The numbers. Oh shit, Hazard. Oh god.
Yes, Hazard.
Okay, Hazard.
Okay, so
what I was gonna do? Are you ready for this? And I know it's a bit controversial, but he did it at Barcelona. Thierry Henry was going to be my left.
Yeah, put
get out of him, man.
No. But he was a striker. He would drift out. Allow it. Stop. Come on, man. He was a left winger.
He was the first forward in the Premier League era, bro.
Wait, but if you're doing that,
if you're doing that, you do the first inverted forward in the Premier League era.
Yeah, but you do know. I'm just because I know you man love him. You do know if you put Henry on the left, Hazard's not getting into this 11.
No,
You
I
do
don't
know.
care about that. Ronaldo's right wing.
Okay,
the
cool.
striker
No,
got striker.
Okay, wait. So before I just
Don't
continue,
be
so if you
Hazard
all
biased.
agree, yeah.
He's not an all-time 11. He's Chelsea.
I'm all right.
Hazard.
Hazard for me.
Okay, wait, so we all agree Ronaldo's in there, right? Let me just before
Yeah,
you.
right.
No, put him on the left, man. Come on, put him on the left.
I'm just saying.
Wait,
So just
wait,
to say,
wait,
it's
wait,
Hazard and Salah now. Am I
let's-
correct?
Everyone,
on the
give
right.
all the-
Huh?
everyone, just give your left wings first. Then we
What'd you
can
say?
decide. Just give your left
Okay.
wings first, then we all unanimous.
No, Richard was said something. Richard said something.
No, because I just want to know because obviously if also Ronaldo's in there, and then I've heard Abbas and Cole. Did you say Hazard as well?
No, I said
No,
Henry.
of course not.
No,
Oh, okay. So, okay,
man.
so you know what? Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. In that case, because since everyone's a position, let's just name our front three.
All right, cool.
Should we just do it like that?
So, Rich, you start first. You're the host.
So my front three was going to be Hazard, Henry, and Ronaldo. As I said, I think Henry. Now, one thing I would say is I don't think Henry is undeniably the. I think what I mean by that, I feel like he can be challenged. I always back Henry, but I do feel like if you talk about in terms of greatest Premier strikers, I slightly do think Aguero comes close to him. Saying that, I still think Henry just edges it for me. I think he won like how many golden boots? Like 3 golden boots.
He won 3, and he won.
And then
He won the
Yeah,
20
and the assist award.
He got 20 assists. I think he held the record till KDB came to town. So I think Henry's number 1. Obviously, Ronaldo's number 2. Especially you saw especially his last 3 years at United.
Yeah.
I think he won 2 Player of the Years as well, where he got 31 goals as well. I think what he did was undeniable, and he was also part of the. I think he was part of the United team. Second time they three-peat the Premier League, which
Yeah, he was 6, 7, 8, 8, 9.
Yeah, which I've said before is very, very hard to do. So I'm going to give him a lot of credit for that. And United's best player by some, and he also won the Ballon d'Or United shirt. Last Premier League player to win the Ballon d'Or. So Ronaldo
15 years. That's an incredible feat.
Hazard, I'm sorry, Hazard
Just
has to
biased
make
because
it
of
in
Chelsea.
there.
I can't believe this.
Nah.
I see you talk about Hazard all the time.
Insane. Apart from Messi, Hazard is the only player that I've watched with my eyes, that can drop a 10 out of 10 without getting a goal and assist. The amount of times he was able to carry this Chelsea
Neymar can do that as well. Stop it. Don't.
No. Neymar could come close, but Neymar wasn't putting in 10 out of 10s without
he can. Ronaldinho as well. Stop it.
Okay, you know what? That's a different debate. But what I'm saying is that in terms of just the Premier League, and that he was arguably, especially for Chelsea, I feel like he's Chelsea's most talented player ever. N'Golo Kante's Premier League Player of the Year, I believe there should have been Hazard. I feel like without Hazard, our last 10 years would have been bleak. And you kind of talk about Salah and this and that. I feel like since Salah has come to a Liverpool team, even though you can give credit to Klopp and say he developed those players, Salah has always had help. Hazard has not always had help at Chelsea, especially after the Conte 16-17. Conte decided to get rid of Costa. Next thing you know, he's now playing with Higuain. Giroud is good, but he's not world class. Morata, these are the attackers that he's playing with that kept costing him assist after assist after assist. He has players like fucking Drinkwater and Bakayoko in his defense. What can you? So the numbers, I don't really care about it because when a player is that talented and able to affect the game as much as he did, I think even in the and correct me if I'm wrong, in the 18-19 season, Hazard contributed to 49% of all our goals, whether he got them by goals and assists. Do you know how crazy that is? I'm sorry, Salah is not doing anything like that. Hazard is in there.
I'll never put Salah in because do you know what it is? Like we see Hazard the same way. Like so, don't get me wrong. The only problem is when it comes to an all-time 11, because a lot of it also is on numbers, especially with the forward line. A lot of it is going to be on numbers. This is why, like, my striker.
Thank God I used my eyes and I watched it.
Yeah, this is the thing. My striker, I've never watched, but his numbers are always going to be there. And Sam knows where I'm going. He's muted, but he knows where I'm going.
You're putting Alan Shearer. We're not putting Alan Shearer. Allow it. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. No way.
What's your
bro?
I don't need to say anything.
What's your front three? Help me with anxiety, bro. What's your front three?
Let me put this out there because I need a dip sleep. Ronaldo, I'm gonna give you guys Henry as well because you have to respect. Alan Shearer. Listen, Alan Shearer. And I tell you why you have to put Henry and Alan Shearer in there. Because, and I know it doesn't mean a lot, but if it does at the moment because they're trying to build it up. Inductees into the Hall of Fame for Alan Shearer and Henry, if I'm not wrong. So already, like, as much as whatever else we want to put, just for that, for modern day football, exactly. Like Sunday League, you're scoring and you put your hands up like this. But just in general, right? You have to do that just for that initial thing. Secondly, this guy's got.
Okay, no, yes, you give your front three.
What? Who, me?
Yeah.
Who, my front three? Wait, hold on quickly. My short and sweet. Left wing Ronaldo, up front Henry, right wing Salah. I'm putting Mo Salah. I'm doing that. Me, I like stylistically. That front three stylistically, they can rotate, they can interchange. I love it. I think it's gonna work. Like
Listen, are you telling me you do not want to see that celebration one more time?
That's why he doesn't even get in. That celebration alone is stiff. That's why he doesn't get in. Allow it. What's this? Allow it. Nah.
I can't have a Premier League 11 with a guy that's got the most goals ever in Premier League. Like, how
we don't care about that, man.
No, I hear where you're coming from. And a lot of people probably would. But in terms of how we're playing with this 4-3-3, I'm just going to go with position for position. Ronaldo left. Salah right, Henry up front. Devastating.
Kodra, who you going with?
Okay.
Henry, I think, is universal, so I'm just going to chuck Henry in there.
And Ronaldo's universal.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, I don't know where I'm putting Henry. I'm going to put Henry in there, and I'll change it if we will disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to put Ronaldo in there, sorry.
I think, yeah. So the two wing positions, I agree with all you guys. So it's just let's stick there, all right? I'll give my reasons for them afterwards, but I'm just gonna go straight to the striker position, which is not Alan Shearer. What's up?
Brandon Story.
He's coming Harry Kane.
Wait.
Okay, first, wait.
Where are you playing Henry?
Because I need to challenge Abbas on this, yeah. Because I did this many times. Abbas, be reasonable with me, right? Yeah. Alan Shearer, obviously, we're not saying that he's not pants. We're not saying he's pants, right? Cool. He's a good striker. He's got the most Premier League goals. He did his thing. Wait. Let me find.
No, don't get me wrong. I think one thing I think Alan Shearer is the third greatest Premier League striker of all time.
Yeah. I agree. He's definitely top 5. He's therefore top 5. I would never say he's not. Therefore top 5. But we're saying the number one. The top one. Creme de la creme.
Can I change mine? I might change mine. I think I might change mine. I might copy you, man. Henry left wing, put Aguero. I can't leave Aguero out, man.
Wait, but you
can't leave Aguero out, man.
You stole my moment, bro. You stole my moment. I was doing that to people.
Aguero!
This. Okay, no one listens to what Sam said. So my striking choice is Aguero. Do you know what I'm saying? An honorable shout you can have after Aguero is probably Harry Kane. You get me? But Aguero number one for me, he's the greatest striker you see in the Premier League history. This guy, bro.
You said Harry Kane. Harry Kane. A second, my brother Harry Kane's chasing Alan Shearer because he's got no relevance to the Premier League.
Harry Kane. Once he gets that, bro, a lot of people are saying Harry Kane is in the discussion for the greatest Premier League strikers. He's already in the discussion right now.
Even if he gets a record, I still won't put Harry Kane there.
That's blasphemous.
Can I say something? You know, to answer these conversations, yeah.
I'm sorry. If he was at City, he'll clear the records, bro. If he was at City right now, bro, the guy will get hard numbers, bro.
Cordial, if I was 6'6",
don't lie to the youth, bro. 220, guys, bro.
I went to America. I was in America. I'd be playing ball right now.
You know you have to win the Premier League to answer these conversations.
You talking about Alan Shearer as a GOAT, a strikers.
You have to win the Premier League to answer these conversations. Harry Kane is not coming anywhere near unless he wins it.
Wait. Aguero's man number one. Why do you guys discount Harry Kane? What is so bad with Harry Kane?
Because he's a serial loser, and I'm sorry, I allow into this greatest Premier League mid.
Not too many, but there's three ahead of him. Shearer, Aguero, and Henry ahead of him up front. Anyway,
Rooney's ahead of him as well.
I'm honest with you. Wazza's there. Luis Suarez is there.
Yeah, it's true, Louis. It's true. It's true.
Drogba.
Wait,
Drogba.
No,
I think
Drogba.
if you're talking about just Premier League, I think
Andy Cole, no pens. Andy Cole, no pens.
Disrespect.
His record was more in cups. Let's be real.
That's a
Here,
fucking Harry
I was
Kane.
Chelsea a lot growing up. I'm a Chelsea fan as well. So I can be real in this one. But guys, so number one, I agree with Aguero. For me, he's the greatest striker to ever grace the Premier League. If he wasn't in injuries, if he didn't have an injury-ridden career towards his last 3 years at City, yeah, especially that season where obviously City won the Premier League title in 18-19. He didn't have that much involvement and whatnot. But let's be very real here. The fact that he's got over 200 Premier League goals. Am I correct tonight? He's got over 200 Premier League goals. Am I correct?
No.
I think he's got that sort of numbers.
No.
No.
He's got 200 Man City goals, but he's got 179 for City.
But he's top 5. He's top 5 in Premier League history, right?
Yeah.
Aguero's missed at least maybe around 40 Premier League games throughout his career. He was at City in 2011. He left in 2021. He was there for 10 years. I think he missed over 40 Premier League games, right? Obviously, injury is part of the game. It's a very sad aspect of football, a very sad aspect of sport. But we know, if we have to be objective here, take with injuries, right? If he was injury prone, because he was very injury prone. If he was an injury prone player, that's another maybe 40, 50 goals. If you add to his tally, he's definitely clearing over 200. And the fact that he's won 5 Premier League titles or so, I think
you know what you're giving.
You're
giving
the moments, the title-winning goal against QPR in 2012 to steal the title away from their neighbours, Manchester United. It was a heroic day for all citizens. It was a heroic day for people at the east side of Manchester. Aguero, for me, his skill set, the goals he scored, his technical ability, right? For me, I would say hands down. I would say it's undisputed.
But you gotta realize
number one.
You gotta realize.
And Simon
let me see one thing before I go.
He'll definitely get more goals. He'll definitely clear 200. He'll definitely be much closer to Alan Shearer.
Yes.
And then for me, a good shout is Harry Kane, then Wayne Rooney.
No. What's a shit on Harry Kane?
I rest my case, guys. Kojo's giving his top striker. Ronaldo, for me, right wing. You could easily put Ronaldo left wing. Ronaldo's probably the greatest talent to ever come to the Premier League. Just raw talent, right? What he done in that 7-8 season at United, 44.
You know what's funny? Ronaldo's not
first one in the Premier League. His skill, his flair, the iconic moments, the hat tricks, the free kick against Portsmouth, that ball the way he struck it, it was very deadly. The way he hit the net, no one had ever seen it from a Premier League player like that back in 2008 in January. Close case Ronaldo. He's simply great. That's Richard's goal. Ronaldo's the guy. That's Richard's goal. Come on,
that's Richard's goal.
Henry can easily be applied in the strike position or easily in the right position. But for me, he was invested forward. Yeah, and for me, he was more of a creative player, which took away the aspect of being a pure striker, a pure number 9. So that's why I put Henry on left wing as a
Kojo funds.
I rest my case. Take it away.
So let's round this up quickly. All right, so it looks like the final spot is between Hazard and Aguero.
Not putting Alan Shearer in the team.
Stop saying Alan Shearer, please.
Richard, you need to insert the celebration of Alan Shearer so everyone can see. This is not getting into it, man. This is not getting into the great. We're not doing all this stiff rubbish. We're not doing that.
You know what? Abbas, I used to be like you, and I used to put him in there. But as I said, before I get to Alan Shearer, I'm seeing Henry and I'm seeing Aguero.
Yeah,
you can't.
And you want to put Harry Kane?
Especially if you got those two, then stop. Please. Stop saying fucking
Henry can play left wing,
but he's the truth.
All right, so are we going Hazard or Aguero?
Aguero, man. Come on, that's not even debatable. Aguero, man. Sorry.
But let me put it out there. It's Alan Shearer.
You know what? Again, I'm very sorry, YouTube. I tried to actually put Hazard in there, but
you know
some people.
You guys need to speak to all the World War veterans, and they will tell you Alan Shearer's number 1.
Can you believe the dribble which is coming out of his mouth? Can you believe the dribble, the nonsense? I'm actually speaking to the YouTube.
You guys will not play.
Put Sergio first. UERO.
Sergio. Yeah, GIO. And then
space, AG. UERO.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Hey, look here. Put Alan Shearer's name in.
Just type the put AG. Kun Aguero, you know.
Nah. Put Alan Shearer's name. Put Alan Shearer's name in.
No, just no, it's simple, bro. Put
I want
Sergio.
to see Alan Shearer's name pops up.
AG.
There we go, done.
Now put Aguero.
Put Aguero.
No,
man.
Put Aguero. It's just that
Wait, if Aguero's name does not pop up here for any reason, he can't get it.
UERO.
then you put the special.
No, bro.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Remove on real striker. That's why.
what? Hey, bro, this thing is
Oh,
bugging,
okay.
bro. What the hell?
Remove
that's what I'm
that.
saying.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bro, Abbas corrupted it, bro.
No, AGUERO. You spelled
Yeah,
it wrong.
it, bro.
Say no results found.
No, you put
Bro, this is
Aguero.
glitched, bro.
Aguero.
It wants to put Sheringham, bro. It wants to put Sheringham. This is glitched. Who's that?
What?
Northern Rock wins again.
Bro, Abbas, you glitched that, bro.
Northern Rock, you know. The Bug Juventus kit.
Bro, it's Busquets.
I'm gonna find it. Sergio
Just put Alvarez for now. They look alike a little bit.
Damn, there's actually no Aguero on this thing.
I think I seen him go down a bit.
That's weird.
Did you ring it? I think I saw him.
No, I promise you didn't see him.
Okay, let's do this just for the sake of the video.
Wait, hold on. Let me just make sure. Let me see if Hazard does come up.
No, I think he's there. He's there. Wait, go slower.
Where?
It's by age, so go further up.
He's by age, did you say?
Yeah, it looks by age in Sergio's. Oh no, he's not there. Bro,
Is Sergio Ramos still there? With the blood clot?
Oh, do you think he only does active players? That's the reason why.
No,
Yeah,
look
maybe.
man.
No, but you got to check. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, all I'm saying is, type in Alan Shearer one more time. Just type in Alan Shearer one more time.
Richard, you some book site, bro. Richard, you some book site, bro.
Type in Alan Shearer one more time.
This is bugging, bro.
Okay, you know what, yeah? Let me go and you guys are gonna see this in it. I'm gonna type in Aguero's name. And then we're gonna copy and paste in it because
Aguero.
it's making me feel like I can't spell.
No, it's not you. It's just this website, Smelly.
Bro, I told
This is
you.
what everyone uses.
Respect.
No, they don't. This one. And it's got no Aguero. I can't take you serious, bro.
Hey, listen. Do you know who he does have? Alan Shearer.
All right, you know what? I saw one Aguero there earlier in it, so we're gonna disguise in a minute.
Let's agree to disagree. I'm keeping Alan Shearer. You guys can have a go.
Oh,
There
actually,
is Aguero.
that works. No picture, but everyone can see that it's Aguero that's over. So,
Come
yeah,
on.
exactly. So as you can see, this is our greatest Premier League midfielder of all time. Obviously, if you see this at first look, please watch the video because I did not come up with this by myself. If I did, it would be a lot better. But I did not come up with
Come
myself.
on, man. You needed our help.
So,
I
well,
can't believe you didn't put Shearer in there.
Oh, Abbas, get over it, man.
The greatest.
I can't. So yeah, this is our greatest Premier League midfielder of all time. As I said, this is going to be a podcast from now on, as we're going to be doing this weekly. We'll still be doing like YouTube shows if we're going to discuss anything else that happens outside of sports week. Like we could do like a all-time basketball 5 or greatest position like we did earlier in the year and stuff. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. And I forgot to make an outro. So for now, just follow us on all social media platforms.
Is this outro? Somebody with me.
So all our socials down below. My socials right there. So Twitter.
What's it called?
Follow me on
Yep,
Twitter.
everything. All these guys will be down below. But as we are now all up one at Outbounds, I'm only going to read out the Outbounds stuff. So Outbounds_UK on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And until next week, thank you for tuning in. Safe.